you check the children? Show a little match sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes. That is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Well, hello there, Fright fans, and welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Jaime and Fuego, returning with another review out of Fantastic Fest 2025. Yes, myself, Cecil, and the rest of the gang could not be there in person, but big time thanks to Brad for hooking us up and making sure that we could cover the festival virtually and work with some different publicity reps to get access to some virtual screeners. This is one that I checked out myself, but really disappointed that I didn't get the chance to have Cecil or any of the other crew check it out before the festival concluded the other day because of the fact that a woman called Mother really hit hard, man, like significantly. This is a film from Indonesia, and it was directed by, just want to make sure I get the name correctly, Randolph Zaini, I believe. And so Randolph did a great job directing this film, and we always here on the Horror Show give some overall thoughts and then segue briefly into story, acting, effects, and the music, things of that nature. And so I was very impressed with this from not just a dramatic standpoint, because it is very much an exploration of a crumbling family dynamic, but also like, excuse me, just the pros and cons, and also like the tough love of siblings and the fact that you don't always get along, but you really are there for each other, like at the very root of it, even despite adolescent disagreements and things of that nature. And so, yeah, overall thoughts, I really, really enjoyed this. It's another one. There's been a few of them at the festival where it veers much more on the dramatic side initially, character exploration and development, and then really the horror builds as the scenario becomes more apparent and evident. And so this is a non-spoiler review, so as I segue here into the story, I'm not really going to give a lot of details or anything of that nature aside from kind of the setup, premise, conceit, things of that nature. But yeah, the whole relocation aspect, and father's not around, mother is kind of a little oddball at times, a little bit just quirky, unhinged and stuff, but yeah, so in any event, we have a relocation that is going down between a brother and a sister, and then their mother, who is acting increasingly strange. And so they're going to be somewhere now where they're significantly closer to their uncle, which is her brother. And yet her brother has already kind of picked up on the vibe that since the husband left, that maybe she had something to do with it, pushing his buttons, just being too weird, whatever it may be. But yet also the fact that he just kind of knows that mom has not really been quite herself, and even asks, I believe it's the daughter early on when the relocation is being made, how has she been lately? Has she been okay, and whatever. And so despite the, skepticism and trepidation of her children, most notably the daughter, the daughter's kind of the main character in a lot of ways, but yeah, she, not only do we have a relocation, but the mother is trying to start this salon business. And so yeah, it's the kids are doubters, daughter especially, and then yet it's like everything is turning up roses. The business, despite them living in at least as far as the kids classify it, a less than desirable area of town here in the country of Indonesia, she still seems to find clientele despite, like, in the face of the adversity. And so even though she's not quite right, she's chugging milk, she's like saying just weird things, she's ignoring other things that seem like they would get a rise out of her and just make her just react a little bit more intensely. She's more flippant about that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's evident that things aren't quite right, but that's about as far as I can say, because it does peel back the layers as to, the hows and the whys and things of that nature. But I also liked another subplot in this of the fact that the siblings, most notably the brother, are trying to start a horror YouTube channel. Haha, start a horror channel. He's like, even says at one particular point, I believe it's to the uncle, he's like, I'm starting a horror channel. And yet his is a little bit different than ours here, that we've been doing for over a decade. We do reviews and comedy sketches and whatnot. He's trying to be a little bit more so like a ghost hunter. And so he's going into certain places that have that spooky sort of vibe, that scary sort of vibe, and he's trying to manufacture drama. There's a little bit of showmanship that's going on in some of the stuff that he puts together. But I really like that subplot, and that is where you can really see just the bond between the brother and the sister. The fact that, she scolds his performance at times, but then she's also giving him pointers for improvement and stuff. I really enjoyed that subplot. And so, yeah, those moments of them, like, kind of putting together a show, so to speak, give us some levity within the writing process and give us, dare I say, even like little momentary, like little lapses of whimsy, because especially in the third act, as we start to really figure out the true nature of the mother, what is going on, that's pretty harrowing. But yet the very beginning of the film lays things down in a very harsh manner, and it's probably going to be a big time trigger for some, because there is there's a mother cat that is eating one of her young, and it's a flashback to our main character, the daughter of the mother, who is kind of like losing touch and starting to go a little bit crazy-ish. There's the indication given that this has been just dwelling below the surface with mom for a very long time because of what mom's reaction to the daughter bringing this to her attention incites. And I don't want to give any spoilers in that regard, but it's a tough scene to watch. You know, some of it's off camera. Later on, we revisit it. But yeah, that's about all that I can say. So mom has some screws loose. She is seeing personal and business success, but yet at the same time, the distance with her children is becoming greater, and even with her brother, you know, the children's uncle and whatnot. So things really get ramped up in the third act. It definitely goes from dramatic to horror, and I give them credit there, and it's very effective in some of the scares. There's something that goes down in the third act of this movie that I was like, okay, you're bringing it. Good on you. And that's where, you know, speaking of bringing it, everybody in this, you know, we really have just four main actors. You know, the uncle is definitely of the much more supporting sort of role. So it's really just the trio of the brother, the sister, and their mother. And all of them are exceptional. The woman, she has the little flashes of care, but yet so much of it is just like, you know, lights are on but nobody's home sort of situation. But yet she's still like very determined hard worker, as her salon is starting to gain more traction, and the daughter is helping out, the brother not so much. And you know, the daughter says at one particular point she's very concerned about her mother, even despite the detachment. You can very much tell that she loves her mother, and the boy as well. You know, now they're both like teenager-ish, you know, I'd say like, you know, like 15, 16-ish, like somewhere in that range, maybe a little younger, maybe a little older, whatever. But yeah, the dynamic between the three of them and the way that it is explored and all of its nuance, both the positives and the negatives, the actors really bring it. They most certainly do. The chemistry is great between the brother and sister. Maybe my favorite thing of the entire movie, actually. I have two younger brothers, so I don't have a sister, but just the playfulness and also like the shittiness to each other, it was just all really well done. And you know, great direction, obviously, you know, to you know, make sure that these performances came out of our peeps. And then we get into the effects and some of the production design and some of the editing and everything as I round out this review. The editing, they do a very interesting thing of these really like frantic quick cuts of like biting of flesh or eating of food, or I'm pretty sure I remember something that was quick flashes of coitus, if I'm going to put it very minimally without getting into too much divulging of details or anything like that. But I really liked that sort of fervent, frantic nature to some of these really quick cuts that are done throughout the film. And also, I mean, I liked the I liked the little fake videos that they're trying to make. I thought that those had some charm and some kind of low-budget DIY sort of coolness to them. And as far as effects and things of that nature go, once again, it takes a while to get ramped up. But there is something, maybe I shouldn't say that. Let's just say it's something to see or not to see that is very well done at the end of the film, well, in the third act, I should specify. And also like the animal effects, like the bit with the cat that I mentioned and a few other things, like and then as you start to realize, I guess, as I walk on eggshells, the nature of a certain character and certain things that they may or may not be responsible for, we do see the aftermath of some of these things, you know, whether deliberate and evident or more on the mysterious side. And they get pretty grisly, pretty gnarly. So it's not gratuitous in, I guess, the frequency, but it actually makes it that much more effective, especially as things ramp up in the back half of the movie when we do start to see it more for as gnarly and grisly and dare I say at times graphic as it really was. And so very well done in the effects department. I mean, top to bottom, this was a serious surprise for me. I thought that this was going to be much more on the dramatic side and not veer as much into the thriller horror. Once again, it takes its time. You have to have some patience with it, but once it gets there, it is effective, and yet there is, as I round things out, the levity and the charm and the endearing aspect of the two siblings and their love and their care for one another, and also for their mom, and just the pain that they are feeling as they see her get, you know, more and more just removed and detached from, you know, just what is like being in the trenches of what, you know, she can focus on business all she wants, but, you know, as far as nurturing her children, that's a different sort of story. So in any event, guys, that is my thoughts on A Woman Called Mother. Film from Indonesia. Had a fantastic fest that I was very impressed with. I extend the grande gracias up in Jaime and Fuego. You can find more on all social media sectors, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the silliness. More importantly, though, if you saw this film in any capacity, you know, virtually, in person, or if you have any interest in it, you know, leave some comments below. It's greatly appreciated. We definitely want to thank our patrons as well for all of their support after all these years, but also Brad from, you know, the main dude who was setting up, once again, all the press at Fantastic Fest. He was sending out great daily photos and connecting us with a lot of new, you know, possible PR people for coverage in the future. So, merci, gracias, thanks so much, everybody. I've been Fuego, y'all have been Rad Status, and until the next scarific review from Fantastic Fest, remember, stay scared.